Hello and welcome to another episode of the Basketball Wales podcast here at the Pod Pale Basket. I'm your host, David Jones, and today we have another fantastic guest for you. We have Jessica Ross, Wales senior capped, and also she's been playing out in Dubai for 6 years. Did you say, Jess? 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years now, yeah, it's flew.
Fantastic. So this is going to be really interesting to talk through how you got into basketball and all the steps that led you to going out to Dubai. I'm really interested in that actual first step, how you got into basketball, because it's a bit more apparent now in Wales. But
Yeah,
I mean, when I was growing up, it wasn't that much of a big deal.
yeah, I can imagine. I'm from Liverpool, so you can probably tell from the accent that I'm not exactly Welsh. My grandparents are Welsh, and that's kind of where that connection comes from.
I see.
It's the same in Liverpool, though. Basketball wasn't a huge thing when I was growing up. It was kind of netball, football, and rugby. And then I actually started playing netball, and then the netball team got put in to a basketball tournament because they had no one else to play.
Right.
Yeah, so it ends up being we were playing, and then I got told that I was too aggressive to play netball because the distance is quite confusing.
Okay.
So it turns out basketball was the sport for me. So then I went to a club when I was 11. And then pretty much from there, I've never looked back. Like my dad wanted me to be involved in sport from a very young age. So I think he was very grateful that I've got a brother and a sister, that one of us was actually sporty. So
Okay, your brother
really
not so much?
Not so much at all. No, he's a musician. He's a drummer. And then my sister, not in the slightest. So I think he was happy that one of us turned out sporty. Yeah. So
that's great. Oh, that's amazing. That's interesting that you were too aggressive to play netball. And they were like, basketball's the one for you.
Basketball's for you.
It's interesting because it's obviously a non-contact sport as well, but obviously the physicality still plays a huge part in the game. So you're a point guard, right?
Yeah, I'm a point guard. I've always been a point guard since I was younger, even though I was one of the tallest. Our coach was big on everyone will be a point guard no matter what height you are, and which was really beneficial for us growing up because a lot of bigs get to us. Like I'm not tall anymore, but when I was younger I was. So there was hopes that I was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't quite turn out that way. So he wanted to develop every player fundamentally and wanted us to be able to shoot and handle the ball. So that really helped us out to progress.
That's really interesting.
I think a lot of bigs miss, which is really beneficial for me.
I mean, that's interesting. That's he was kind of ahead of his time in that. I mean, that's not really a thinking that we had a few years ago. Even still, people now coming out doing that kind of work with people when they're younger. Everyone has to know how to dribble the ball. Everyone knows how to shoot, how to pass.
Yeah,
and we're still kind of calling that revolutionary.
Yeah, he was one of I still come home every summer and he's the first person I go to for my training.
Oh, that's
same at
nice. Christmas.
Yeah, he's like I literally had a training session with him on Tuesday. He's the best guy. He's actually helped out with Wales at one point. His name Phil McLaughlin. He was class.
Oh yeah. Okay,
so he came over. Coach. So yeah, he's great. He's been one of my big pushes.
Great. So you joined the club at 11. You got your first Wales cap when you were 17. It was really early. Yeah. Tell me what happened in those 6 years. What led from there to being called up at such a young age?
Yeah, so I originally was in the Northwest in England kind of squad, just through that kind of program. And then Wales, my ex-partner, he plays for Wales as well. And he was playing for them beforehand. But I was through the English kind of pathway. Yeah. And then when I was 15 or 16, we played for the Northwest under 15s, and it was like a big regional tournament. And the Welsh team actually joined in the kind of to help out to get used to before they went to FIBA. Okay. And the Welsh coach just come and had a chat with me, and he was just like, "I'd very much I like how you play. I think you'd help the team, and it would be quite a good move for you if you're ever kind of." I think he found out through the grapevine that I was Welsh and on the other side of it. Yeah. And then from there I just went down to a training session that weekend. I think I was like 16 when I first went, but the 16 team, I was too old to play 16s, but they didn't have 18s at the time.
Right. Okay, yeah. So many people get caught in that.
Yeah, but it was good for me because I think I wasn't quite ready to join the team and then go straight off to a tournament. So it was
maybe not. That's fair.
So it was a good transition year. So I originally started when I was 16, and then I got my first cap in Gibraltar. And Andorra. Sorry, at this point,
Andorra.
When I was 16. Yeah, so it was quite exciting. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah. How must that moment have felt the first time you put on a Welsh jersey? What was that like? Especially It's an interesting thing because I think it happens a lot more to people who play for Wales than say the other way around with people who play for England who are Welsh.
Yeah.
How does that feel to be putting on a Wales jersey? Do you still feel that immense pride?
Oh, honestly, like I think it was. I don't think I first realized how. I think the girls showed me how much it means to them, and then it kind of rubbed
Oh,
off.
okay,
Like
that's
the
interesting.
girls who I played with, like I was the only English. No, there was two English girls, like
Mm.
coming from the English program. And the girls who I played with, like they made me feel like I was part of the family, and that was like the first
Oh,
time
that's
like I
nice.
felt Welsh. Like it sounds stupid, but
Yeah, yeah, no,
like
I
I
get what
felt
you mean.
Welsh in that program. Like I stayed at the girls' houses like every single weekend for like 5 months. Like it was. So I
Wow.
think when putting that jersey on, I just felt like it was the first time that I felt properly involved in
Yeah.
like in the international system. And then obviously then we went away and then we won the bronze medal. So then that was even
Yeah.
better. So
Of course, I mean, well, you've just brought it up there, so we've got to talk about that now. I mean, your first tournament coming away with a medal in a sport where we're not used to really getting medals in basketball. So,
no.
how was that? And what was it about that team that was able to do that?
Yeah, there was a lot of talk beforehand that we were like the strongest Welsh team to go to a
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think, to be honest, like it was a lot of pressure and we were really nervous. Like
Okay.
I remember speaking to the girls beforehand and we were just like, we have to come away with something. Like,
Mm.
and then we lost our first game by like 2 points, I think. So it was
Okay.
like we were very upset and it was like the end of the world. And then our
Had to
coach,
pick
we had
yourself back
Lee,
up, kind of thing.
yeah, we had Lee Walker and Lee Coulson who they were honestly they were amazing. They were like
Yeah, Lee's a
good
great
cop,
guy.
bad cop. Like they were just very
Right.
much like Lee Walker was the calm and collective one.
Mm.
Lee Coulson, as he never will and never will change, he was like the crazy, energetic, emotional one.
Yeah, lovely.
So the battle of the two of them was amazing. Um, yeah, it was just, and then we got into that final game and against Gibraltar
Right.
for the bronze medal, and we annihilated them. We beat them by like 25 points.
Wow.
I mean, everything just clicked that has been trying to click for the tournament.
Hmm.
Every player was, even we had some girls who were like 14 playing for the Welsh under 18s team, like who
Goodness.
just came back from playing 16. So like we were completely the underdogs
Yeah.
regarding age, but actual skill level, I think on another weekend, like we absolutely would have won that gold medal. But we were the first ever girls team to ever win a medal. So
Yeah.
for us, that was like, and then from that, since then they won bronze medals at the year after, and
Yeah,
they've
yeah, yeah.
just
It
the
was
program's
continued
just
success
increased.
after that, but there
Yeah,
seemed to be some kind of turning point with that squad of yours. Was there
yeah,
anything in terms of the system, in terms of like actual on the court stuff? I mean, we know that kind of camaraderie and the morale and the feeling around a team can kind of lead you to success in a tournament, but
yeah,
between the lines on the court, that's where the game is won or lost. I mean,
yeah.
what
Of
was it about that
course.
team that you were able to overcome so many challenges in that tournament?
I think just the prep beforehand. I think the
Mm.
coaches they kind of prepped us really well. Like we had a lot of preseason games, which I think they didn't have as many beforehand.
I see. That's good.
And then I think just the level of Lee Walker, as obviously he was an ex-professional basketball player. I think
Yeah,
his knowledge was we learned so much from him. Just
I
the
bet.
small little details that he had just made us kind of click as a team. I think the team that we had was such a good range of players in different positions. Like we had
Okay.
Tanisha Walker, who was like a really good big. We
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
Sophie Evans at the time. She still plays now, I think,
Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
was
Sophie's
an
great.
outright shooter. So I think
Hmm.
between us, like every position we needed to click. Like no matter if there was a sub off the bench or a sub on the court, like we
Right.
just we just came together and we just found our style of play. Because I think when you go to international tournaments, a lot of us we always try to play at like when we play Gibraltar, they're really quick and they shoot. We try to play to their game.
You get
We
caught up in
play,
that. Yeah,
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 we
yeah.
played Iceland. We tried to play big, which we wasn't. So like I
Mm.
think, and now we've actually started to find our style of play. Like I watched Wales this summer, and I think it's
Yeah,
like I was good. I couldn't be there because I was still in Dubai, but
of
I
course.
think watching the girls, they found their style of play, and I think
Yeah.
that's starting to progress now. Which is like this is how Wales play, not just like a
Hmm.
random team that they've got for the summer, and
Yeah,
we
that's
kind of
really important, isn't it? I mean, to have
yeah
a sort of identity to the national team, I think is really important, and then that pathway
yeah
you can start integrating that at earlier levels. So when people become senior, because I think that's a big difficulty with basketball not being able to blossom for so long in this
yeah
country, the entirety of the UK, not just Wales, is
yeah
you get people who are really good who are maybe 14, 15, 16, but then once they become pros or they reach that senior level, they're just thrown out with people they may have never played with,
yeah
coaches they've never been
exactly.
coached with. And so having that identity with the national team that can work its way all down the pathway, I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's definitely the key. I think foundations is the biggest thing, and I think that's where Basketball Wales have worked really hard on over the last couple of years
Yeah, for
of
sure.
making their junior program so strong to allow that senior program to trickle through. Because there was a
Absolutely.
massive difference. Like when I first started, it went from under 18 straight to seniors.
Yeah.
In the last, and I know we played in Scotland 6 years ago, I think, and we played like under 23s as well, which was
Right.
nice to bridge that gap. So we
That
had some of the under
extra group.
18s. Yeah, I think that made a massive difference because I think like myself, I played seniors when I was 16, like with my
It's
local
crazy.
team. Yeah, it was, yeah. And then with the juniors, they don't really have the opportunity. Within like
Right.
in Cardiff, they have like the WBL team, and they didn't have D1 at the time.
Yeah.
So I think just having that bridge of the gap of the under 23s, it was really beneficial.
I think that's really good. Before we move on, have you got any amazing stories, or you've said about some of the tips that Lee was able to give you whilst you were away at that tournament? Have you got any funny stories, any great tips that he gave you that have stuck with you since then? I know it's 7 years ago now, but is there
7 years.
anything that's still in your mind
Testing
that
my
sometimes you
memory.
catch yourself thinking about?
I think it's just a case, like specifically for me, like I'm a confidence player. Like
Right.
if I got confident, then I'm good. If I got nervous and I overthink, it's not my day.
That's basketball.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something that I really struggled with before I went to the Welsh program. Like I could have a
Okay.
2 point game or I could have a 30 point game, and there'd
I
be no in
see.
between. And then Lee Walker just once took me aside. I think it was before the medal game, and he kind of just said to me, he probably doesn't even remember, but he said to me like, play like you're the best player in the court, and then if anyone disagrees with you, then you hopefully by the end of it, like your stats will prove that you are. And I think
Okay.
a lot of the times I'd go on and I'd always be like, oh yeah, but there's a player on Gibraltar and she scored 20 points yesterday. And he's like, yeah, but you
Yeah.
scored 22 the day before. So I
Comparison
think
game then. Yeah.
I'd always compare, but he was like, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Like just compare yourself to the person you are and the person that you want to be. And then within that gap, if you become the best player you are, then that's all you can be. So don't worry about
Amazing.
everybody else. So I think that's always
That's
kind of
fab.
stuck at me.
That's a
Yeah.
great story. Well, I think he's spot on. I think basketball is one of these things where, like, getting hot in basketball is a real thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it generally
if
is.
you've never played basketball and you've never watched basketball properly, it's really hard to understand. But it's a real thing. Getting hot and getting
Yeah.
cold is a genuine
Yeah.
thing. Growing up, I played rugby a lot more than I played
Yeah.
basketball. So then when I tried to play basketball, I tried to use the things that helped me in rugby, which was if
Yeah.
things weren't going my way, I would get angry and I would start running at people. And then all technique goes out the window and everything falls to pieces. Basketball, you
Yeah.
need to stay calm and you need to stay confident. And getting hot is a genuine thing. So that's a great little bit of advice. I want to talk about Dubai, if that's all right. So how did
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
move kind of come about? What started that?
It was very random. So like I stayed home for uni, I stayed home for
Yeah.
everything. Like I'm a very home girl. Like the
Right.
most I go is to Cardiff for the summer,
Okay.
other than holidays. But so I was sitting in university, like I'm a teacher. So I
Okay.
was just finishing my last year with my teaching degree. And someone came into uni and done like a talk and said, has anyone ever thought about going like abroad? And I was like, yeah, no, not me. Like I like where I am, like I like my home.
Yeah.
And then the more I thought about it, I was like, do you know what? I'd love to go abroad.
Okay.
And then this opportunity came up for, like, I was looking online. Like, I didn't tell anyone. It was just very subconscious. Was like,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
going to have a little look online and find if there's any opportunities. And then Dubai came up, and I never really heard of Dubai at this point. Like, the UAE, it came up, and I was like, I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
really know anything about it other than
Yeah.
the
Okay.
tall buildings and it being very hot. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm just going to apply for it. I was like, I'm just going to see what happens and see. And then somehow I got the job.
Wow.
I literally had no teaching experience. I just come out of
Yeah.
uni and they took a chance on me. And then, and then I left like 4 months later, which was, my parents were very shocked about it. I think my mom was like, yeah, she's not
Oh
going
my
to go.
gosh! A quick
And then
turnaround.
very quick turnaround.
Wow.
And then I had like the gap of playing my last senior Wales game. And then I left like a week, 2 weeks later. So yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because the opportunities out there are just next level. But it was very very weird for me at the time.
Of
Like I
course.
got to Dubai and I was like, what the hell have I just done? Like
Yeah.
I
I
just
bet those first 2 weeks or so.
I just
Yeah. I
moved the
bet.
whole of my life to the other side of the world. And because I had such a good platform here, like Basketball Wales, I had my Sefton team that I played since I was 11. So I
Yeah.
had everything set for me. But I thought I'd just take a chance, and it's been the best.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
That's fantastic. So it came through. So the actual job you were applying for was as a teacher over in Dubai.
Yeah. So I
That's
still teach
interesting.
as well. I I play pro and I teach at the same time,
Right.
which is an experience, and it's
Yeah. How's
busy,
that
but
work?
just a lot of long days. Like I start school at 6 a.m. and then
Yeah. Walk
training.
us
I
through it.
go,
Walk us through. What's your
yeah,
schedule? What's your training? What's your
yeah.
school
So
life?
with the pro team, we have to train 5 times a week if you can.
Okay.
So I wake up in the morning. I have to be at school at 6. And then I finish school around 5 most days, and then I travel straight to Sharjah, which is the next emirate, but it's where the pro team is kind of based,
Right.
which is like an hour drive. Traffic can be like 2 hours
Oh
depending.
my god.
Yeah, so then I practice there, and
Right.
then we have games on Saturdays. Like here, we have games on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But not just the pro team. I also have my own team that I started off before as pro, so I
Okay.
play that as well. So some days I'll like train 2 hours, and then I'll go and play with my like local team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty much basketball all the time. And then obviously I'm a PE teacher as well, so then I'll teach basketball
So
every
you're teaching
day. So
basketball.
it's pretty much sport like 99% of the time.
That's
But yeah,
unbelievable. I don't know
yeah,
how you managed to do that. That's insane. Did you say you have to be at school at 6 a.m.?
yeah, so like with schools over here, they take sport, well, over in Dubai, they take
Yeah, yeah,
sport a
yeah.
lot more seriously than they do here. They're very Americanized.
Okay.
So they have before training, before school, they have lunchtime training, and then they have after school training or fixtures
Interesting.
against school. So yeah, it's a massive thing for sport, which is great for me.
Yeah, of
Not
course.
so much for my body clock. It's not the best, but it is really beneficial. Like the kids,
I'm sure.
they get such good opportunities over there, which
Yeah, what are the
comparison to
facilities like? I bet it's top of
next
the art
level.
stuff, right?
Like just like my school has like 2 rugby pitches, 1 football pitch. We're just building a new basketball court. We've got 2 now. We've got
Wow.
3 swimming pools. Like it's just you. It's basically like a movie. Like
Okay.
it's incredible. But and then again, they've got like ex-professional players who come and coach. They've got
Right.
opportunities now at the NBA. They've just started a big program in Dubai. So, and then
Interesting.
the Lebanese program. I don't know if you've got much
No, I'm
experience with
not
the
familiar with Lebanese
Lebanese.
basketball.
They've just started. They're in now in the men's team are in like the A division in FIBA. So they're just
Oh,
starting to.
wow.
It's amazing. They're honestly some of the best coaches that I've experienced.
Okay.
Fundamentally, like they make a little twitch into your game and it's changed
Interesting.
like certain parts of it. So it's really progressing much different. Like with Dubai, it progresses so quickly. So when I
Yeah,
first came, basketball wasn't. It was big, but not. There was a lot of basketball, but not a lot of quality.
I
Where
see.
now it's like a lot of quality and a lot like there's a lot
Quantity
of
and
money
quality,
being
yeah.
there's a
Right,
lot of
okay.
money being pumped into it.
Yeah, I was going
And
to ask that. Is that just down to funding, do you think?
yeah, I think that they've got what the UK lack. Like they've
Yeah.
got basically, you've seen now with the Saudi footballers coming in and
Yeah.
just throwing money. It's exactly the same there. So
I've seen Mbappe's contract offers, 13 million a week.
yeah, I should have started football. I think I should have
I
changed
know.
over.
Project Mbappe for my son's going to start right now.
I've seen that. Yeah, I think I don't have a child, but I did. I think they'd be very much a football player right now. So I think that is the biggest thing. One of the biggest barriers ever comes with sport, especially for the UK, is funding.
Right.
So I think that's something that is like takes away that barrier, and it just allows like kids to have the opportunity without having to
Yeah,
go
it's fab.
like at home. I remember like my mum drive me to Cardiff, like
Yeah.
because we didn't have funding much when we were 17. So like my mum used to drive me from Liverpool to Cardiff on a
That's a
Saturday
horrible
morning.
drive.
Oh, horrendous! Like
Horrible.
6 a.m. we'd have to leave. She'd sleep in the car in the roundabout.
Oh, fair
like
play.
she'd sleep there, and then she'd either drive me home that night, or
Oh, that's
she'd
so
stay
kind.
over at Sophie Evans' house. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, like and that, like we're now, and that was all paid for by my parents. Where
Yeah.
like I know some players who wanted to progress but didn't have the funding to be able to go to international tournaments. Like
Yeah.
we had to raise it ourselves. Like it was, which I think it's
So
hopefully going to
interesting.
start switching in the next couple of years. But yeah,
Yeah.
with basketball in Dubai, like it's like when I start a team, they give you boots, they give you kit, like you have like a physio, you have unlimited
Wow.
access
Even
to
at
everything.
like a school level.
With the school level, they don't give you shoes, but the kits are provided.
Right.
The facilities, like you can train every day. They have S&C sessions in the gym for every
Unbelievable.
player who's part of a team. Like yeah, it's
That's
amazing
fab.
the opportunities they have.
So is that just because it's a priority for them? It seemed as if something switched in terms of Middle Eastern nations, and it's particularly the UAE, where
Yeah.
about 6, 7, maybe I'm being ignorant and it was longer, but it seemed to become way more prevalent that 6, 7 to 8 years ago where they just switched and they were like, right, we're gonna impact sport. And is that how it feels, that sport's like at the front of their mind, the front of their focus?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know, there's a thing called Dubai 3030, which it's
Right.
like it's a kind of a program that they've launched in the UAE that happens around November. So it's
Okay.
30 days of fitness and 30 days of 30 minutes of fitness for 30 days. And the whole of the
That's fab.
country just goes nuts with it. Like, every person that you wouldn't expect to do sport will do this program, and it's just bringing
That's
the whole
great.
community together. And I think they realise that that's the key to everybody. Like, everyone has a sport, even if it's running, walking, yoga, basketball. Like, that seems to be, that's the way of bringing people together. And they
Absolutely.
want to live that healthy lifestyle. They have the best facilities, and
Yeah.
obviously now they've got like the NBA coming over. They've got games in August. Like, they're starting to realise that that's what people want, and like a lot of expats who are in that country are like
Of
American or
course.
UK, and that's what we want. We want sport. And we want to be able to play at the
Yeah.
highest level as possible.
Of course, because whilst it's a crazy story that you've gone over to Dubai to play basketball,
Yeah.
you do hear these stories more and more frequently about people going out. Does it feel that way over there, or do you still feel like the only English person, or there are quite a few people over in your school or at your club or whatever?
I'm in a British school, so
Oh,
99% of
okay.
teachers are British.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
then and then pretty much my friends from uni have now moved over. Like, quite
That's
a few of the
nuts.
girls. Yeah, I
That's
kind of
crazy. How's that happened?
pulled them over. I think it was around COVID. I came home and I was like,
Right.
guys, I need to get out of the UK. Come and see me. So they came on holiday, and then one of my friends at the start of the holiday was like, I would never move here.
Right.
And by the end of it, she applied for a job, and now she's been there for 2 years.
Oh
So
my goodness.
yeah, I think it's starting to be like, I think everyone
Yeah.
on my Instagram is like on holiday there or wants to go there.
Absolutely.
So people constantly contact me, especially in regards to basketball now,
Okay.
is in that right in the way of moving towards being a bit better with regards to pro teams.
Mm.
I think people just want the lifestyle and also the balance between lifestyle and then the sport of it. So it is
Yeah.
starting to, like, it's massive. Like, if you go
That's
into Dubai,
fantastic.
like expats, it's huge for expats.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. So
Well, with the weather as it is in the UK at the moment, in the middle of
yeah,
July, if
it's
ever there's a media position going up over there, make sure to put my name forward.
I will definitely
I can
mention you.
continue doing this from anywhere, technically.
Exactly.
But okay. So what we've started to do in this episode and the last episode that will have just come out with, which was with Tim Lewis, who's the assistant head coach at the Minnesota Timberwolves, is we're starting to talk some just general NBA chat in these. So we spoke quickly beforehand, and you've kind of stopped following it since you've been over in Dubai
Yeah.
just because of times. Is that right?
Yeah, so like I still watch it. I still have the highlights on my phone constantly.
Right.
But I think regarding to following one main team,
Yeah.
I find like with the time frame, as I said before, like going to work at 6 and then coming home,
That's
I don't really
crazy.
have the time to follow it. Even because like football is my sport, like regards to like watching, like
Oh,
Liverpool
okay.
is my team, so that's like a big following for me.
Yeah, I'm a
So
Liverpool
if I'm
fan
ever
too.
going to stay up late, that's going to be the team I stay up for.
I see. You've got to prioritize something. I understand
That's
that.
it. Yeah. So, but like, I've always loved the NBA. I've always loved Duke as well with college basketball. Like,
Oh, that's
college
interesting.
basketball. Yeah, because I hated the hype when I was growing up. I hated the hype of NBA, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
they didn't really understand the sport, and they're just like, oh, I support NBA. I'm like, okay. So then I kind of
Exactly.
like, and I love Coach K. Like, he was
Yeah, I
like
mean,
the
he's a
fundamental
legend.
guy. Exactly. So
He's an
you could
absolute
not like
legend.
him. So, but regards to NBA, like, I've always loved Golden State. Like, I'm not one of these bandwagon fans who like
Interesting.
them just because they're winning. Like,
Yeah. I was going to
beforehand,
say,
I
are
like
you
to
sure
just,
you love Golden State all the time?
yeah, I on that yeah, I'm a big. I have this argument all the time. I was like, oh, you just jumped on the bandwagon. I was like, nope. Like, I've got T-shirts with it before when I was
That's
younger.
awesome.
Yeah, like you can't not love Steph Curry and Clay
Yeah, of course.
Thompson. Like,
Have you seen the new documentary on Apple TV?
I haven't watched it yet. No,
You've got to do it.
I've
You've got to do it. It's
I'll make
fantastic.
time for.
I'm loving the amount of basketball docs at the moment. Talking to Coach K,
That's
did
the
you see the
best
Redeem
thing.
team?
I did, and I also watched.
He's
Like,
awesome.
I'm a massive like I loved watching when Michael Jordan stuff come out. Like,
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just
that-
the Last Dance.
we needed
was
that.
that was what we needed, and everyone else
Yeah.
then was a basketball fan all of a sudden. I
Everyone.
realized
Everyone in every pub, in every shop was like, have you
Yeah.
been watching The Last Dance?
Yeah, they were starting to tell me things about basketball. I was like, come on now, like, I've been playing since I
Happens
was 11.
all the
They were like, yeah, but do you know this? And I'm like, yeah. But like,
Did
it
you
was
know
amazing.
that Dennis Rodman was a good rebounder?
Yeah, they're like, did you see his hair? And I'm like, come on, mention something a bit more
What?
different. But Yeah, but yeah, it was an amazing. I think it was a big move for us. Like, and then now
Yeah.
you've obviously got the thing about Jordan with the what's it called now? The new film that just came out. I literally watched it last weekend.
Oh,
The one with creation of
Air. Was it Air?
Air. Like, so that
Yeah.
one is now out, and I think
Love
people are
Matt Damon.
just realizing they don't just need to walk around in Jordan trainers and actually take a bit more of an interest in NBA, which is amazing.
Absolutely. I think Michael Jordan's probably the most impactful person in terms of basketball internationally. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone, even
everyone knows him.
even here is wearing J's, but they just don't know. So I think it is good that you had The Last Dance and then Air,
Yeah,
so you can kind of see both
absolutely.
sides of it. I think that's
Yeah,
really important because I think
yeah.
people forget that basketball players are people and they just get
Yeah, they
shown.
just see the shoes of it, and
Yeah,
I think like even now, like women's basketball is just massively increasing. Like
of
you only have
course.
to watch Caitlin Clark like to see
Yeah.
her
Oh
in the
my
college. Like
goodness.
she's just
March
she's
Madness
just
with her.
honestly, like I don't normally follow. Like I'm going to be deadly honest, I never really followed like women's college basketball,
Yeah, but you've
but
got to now. You have to now.
she was the game changer for me, and like
Yeah,
their coach, like the NCAA coach, like honestly, like just the impact that had. Like my boys
absolutely.
who are very much like NBA players, like don't want to watch women's basketball. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
never
yeah.
come watch us. They were like, you have to tune in for this game, Jess. Like she is incredible. Like I think
It
she's
really was.
changed. Yeah, like her range of shooting. Like everyone always
It's
says, like,
insane.
oh, like she. I'd love to see her and Steph Curry like have a
It's the
shoot off.
closest thing
Like
to Steph
yeah,
Curry I've
like
ever seen.
yeah, incredible. And I think, and then you've obviously got the lady who won the 3-point competition the other day and got the
Oh
world
yeah,
record. I can't remember
didn't
her
she shoot
name
nearly
now.
perfect?
Yeah, she missed. She got 35 out of possible 39 points,
That's
which is like
unbelievable.
so. Women are starting to take over, so I
Yeah,
think it's exciting to see.
I mean the WNBA has been unbelievable this season. I mean the
Oh,
Liberty and the Aces are just they're flying. I think the Aces are
yeah,
17-2. I
yeah,
think
they only
at
lost
the
two. Yeah,
moment. And Jewel Lloyd, I love the way she plays the game. Sabrina Ionescu, she's
yeah,
awesome. But yeah, I think the women's game has come on leaps and bounds. And maybe I'm slightly
yeah.
biased because I've been commentating for the WBBL for the past season,
Oh,
and
okay.
I think it's better than the BBL.
Oh,
But
thank you, thank you.
it's so fantastic. And
Yeah.
having been so I just finished my masters at Cardiff Met,
Oh, okay.
and because Cardiff Met obviously have the Archers,
Yeah,
and then the Archers are the WBBL side, and obviously we don't have BBL for Wales, so
yeah,
there's so many fans of basketball who then flood to the Archers Arena for those games
yeah,
that they all feel massive. That was the
yeah,
first time where I really felt really hopeful about basketball here in
yeah,
Wales blossoming because you can feel it in those atmospheres. I mean, you must have felt it playing basketball, especially in these big stages like Euros and FIBA and all these things. But
yeah.
was there like a club moment? Was there a moment where it was a packed out thing up in Liverpool, maybe, or anywhere
Yeah.
around before you were pro, where you were like, "Whoa, look at this! I can't believe I'm doing this." You know what I mean?
With Liverpool, like we had the smallest gym, like to the point
Right.
where like your sideline was like your mum's feet, like on the side. Like
Okay.
it was you had to like move like the grands out the way to be
Oh
able to.
no,
Yeah, so
just
it was
the
very small,
inbound.
so we didn't really have that kind of opportunity. But I remember when I was with it, it was kind of probably with the Welsh team, like we
Right.
always win the Fair Play Award, and it's never to do with the players. It's always to
Okay.
do with the fans. Like
Fans, yeah.
yeah, like we travel so well. Like I think when
We're
we were
good at
especially
singing.
with
That's all it is.
yeah, we're just very loud. Like we
Yeah.
could be like four people in the crowd and we'd beat everybody. Like when we played
Absolutely.
Gibraltar in the final, like the loudest people I've ever met in my life, like with the Welsh fans. Like and we played one in Cardiff Met actually in the Archers
Oh yeah.
Arena, and we were playing. Scotland came over. Or was no
Oh wow.
Ireland came over? Sorry, we had like an we
Ireland's
had
basketball fans are unreal.
oh yeah, so it was battle of the. You can imagine the battle between the Welsh fans and the Ireland fans, and
Yeah.
it was just one of the moments. And it was my final game with the squad for the under 23s before I moved to Dubai.
Wow.
So it was very
Big
emotional.
send off.
It was, and it was pretty, like after the game, like all the players start crying, and I'm not a crier, but I start crying.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was just like it was lovely, and it was just like
Yeah. Of
such an impact in 5 years with the Welsh squad and
course.
being the captain of the under 21s, 23s, and just kind of having that opportunity to be part of the journey and be the first girls team. Like it was just, and it was like little girls coming up to us and asking for photos, which we've never really had
Oh, that's
before.
so nice, isn't it? Though.
Yeah, it was just it was one of the best experiences that I've had before going obviously to Dubai, and just having the opportunity was just next level. Like we were, I think one of the women's teams, we went to Latvia for the 3-on-3 as well. I think that was a big thing. It was myself and a couple of the girls.
How do you find that 3-on-3?
Oh, it's my favourite.
Oh, do you prefer it to 5v5?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like I'm a very like quick player in the terms of how I want to play. Like my coach always shouts at me and says to use the shot clock, and I'm like, yeah, but you can score in the first 6 seconds.
7 seconds or less.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, well, Caitlin Clark shoots some here, so
so I can, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So for me, it was a game changer. Like I never played it before, and then Coach Darren phoned us up and said, right, we need a girls team to go to Latvia in about 4 or 5 weeks. Like you're in your peak of.
All right.
Yeah, it was very much last minute because we've never really been part of it before, and it was to qualify to go to like the final Euros, and then we literally had like 2 training sessions and then went straight to Latvia, like ourselves and the men's team.
Oh my god!
And it was but it was good because we were at the peak of our playing because we've just finished.
Right, okay.
So we were all just come together. Yeah, so it wasn't like we just ran.
Yeah, it wasn't. You're not cold to go in.
No, so it was. Whereas normally where we rest, it was like right now another tournament. And honestly, it was such a good experience. Like
it's really interesting to
signatures.
Hear.
I don't even have a good signature, so I was like trying to practice. It was an amazing experience. And then I kind of followed that 3-on-3 program going to Dubai then, and I represented the UAE last year in Cairo.
Amazing.
In the Red Bull tournament for the World Championships. That was one of the, like we played in front of the pyramids. Like they built a basketball court. Like
in front of the pyramids?
I'll have to show you the picture.
Please.
Like, after this. So basically they built this court like that was in front of the pyramids, like in front of the link. And it was one of the best. Like you're sitting there and you're like, how am I involved in this? Like
that's unbelievable.
And then in the first day, like Lethal Shooter was there, do you know?
The shooting coach.
Yeah, so he was watching people and then he invited certain players to come and shoot with him the next day.
Oh, wow, what an
in the opening ceremony. So then I was one of the players who got selected.
Oh my gosh, he was Lethal Shooter. That's
awesome.
God,
he done a coaching session with us. Like,
is he as good as people say?
He's honestly like, I call cap on his videos sometimes. I'm like,
there's no way you see them and I'm like, surely not.
Yeah, there's no way you've not took 100 shots to make this. But honestly, like he was so good, and just his little tweaks that he did as well. Like like for me, I lean quite a lot to my right, and he was trying to get me to balance a little bit.
Okay.
It was an experience. So
You got any tips that he might have given you that someone, let's say there's a 12-year-old girl watching this thinking of how to shoot, is there anything that Lethal Shooter taught you that you think would help someone starting out shooting now? He
very much said, like, and I was quite shocked to be honest, he said about that most of the time when he does these shooting sessions, he doesn't focus on a 3-pointer. Like, even though that's all you see on his Instagram.
Yeah.
So he said 90% of his sessions will be from mid-range shots, and it'll be very much close shots, very much inside. And then the last 10 minutes of his session will be 3-pointers, which I found really shocking because if you watch all of his videos,
you're thinking about just getting used to that range.
Yeah, and he said that they don't often do that, and it's the point of, like, I watch loads of my students who will come into the gym, they'll get a basketball and they'll start shooting from the 3-point line, and they're just
everything's a step back jumper nowadays.
Exactly, and they can't make a layup or they can't shoot a mid-range shot consistently.
It is a problem.
Yeah, and then that's where the technique completely blows, and then that's where that kind of bad habits kind of fall into. So I think for me, it's just, you don't have to be a 3-point shooter right now. Like, the best part of your game needs to be a strong drive and a dribble pull up, like, from the inside. And then once you progress that, you'll notice the stronger you come, the more, like, your mentality of shooting and scoring will come, and then you'll be a 3-point shooter before you know it. But not starting to plan to be a 3-point shooter, like, progressing it from that inside, and then hopefully, like, I don't see anyone who's like the worst 3-point shooters, and then you can start kind of doing the fundamentals from there and trying to, because the techniques that I see from some of these 3-point shooting, especially from the kids, are like very much Happy Gilmore. So I think it's just giving them that opportunity to just start inside. Like, there's nothing wrong, especially in a junior game. Like, most of the opportunities are a drive, a fast break, or a pull up. So I think it's just kind of,
defense is harder to learn at the first early stages. It's going to be harder for someone to learn the defensive scheme than an offensive.
And you can't play zone as well. So, like, I don't know if it's the same in Wales anymore, but like in the UAE and in the UK, you can only play you can only play zone at the age of 14, I think, or 16.
Yeah, there's a
So I
certain
think,
cutoff point. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that there's a cutoff point.
yeah, so like you don't need to be able to shoot a free because no one's trying to force you to shoot. So
Yeah.
it's just having that kind of beating someone one on one and being able to have that confidence play, and then it'll start to progress from there.
That's interesting. Do you think that's just social media that's done that? That whole thing of everyone
100%.
thinking they have to be Steph Curry or James Harden kind of thing.
Yeah, I think because that's the exciting thing in it. Like
Yeah.
not everyone can dunk. Like that is physically impossible. Like
Yeah,
I think
I guess
that's an
that's fair.
unachievable thing, especially for girls. Like there's
Right.
not many of us who will be able to. Like I know it's starting to. Like I've seen some girls
Yeah,
starting to
some
now,
girls
which
can
is
get up there now.
exciting.
Yeah.
But I think everyone wants to be a 3-point shooter. Like every
Yeah, of
competition you go to, it's all right. Let's do a 3-point competition, or like everyone wants to be able to. You watch like in our pro games, they bring kids to a half time and they do 3-point, and they can't even shoot a layup, but that they all try.
Yeah,
So I
of
think it's
course.
just kind of it is social media. It is the way the game's going. Like I think
Yeah.
it's very much like fast break. You see players pull up at free now, which you'd never see
Instead
that
of
back
driving
in the
for an
day.
open lay, yeah.
Exactly. So you see that's kind of where the game's going, and it's very much like an entertainment game, especially in the NBA.
Of course.
So I think maybe that is why, but
Yeah.
I think players don't see the hard work. Like as we always speak about Michael Jordan and Kobe, like they spent 5 hours in the gym before everyone
That
gets
Steph Curry documentary for anyone watching who's considering shooting 3-pointers without training hard for it is worth a watch, just to see how much work he puts into it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's it. Like I remember watching, like I watch a lot of Kobe stuff. Like he's my guy. So
He's the best for motivation. If ever you're looking like a gym session with motivation headphones on, any like Mamba Mentality YouTube video.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was one where he said he went to the gym like 2 hours, and then a player came in the gym like 10 minutes before his gym session was done, and he refused to leave until that guy left. Like,
oh yeah,
I think
that's Jalen Rose, isn't it?
I think so.
I think that was Jalen Rose before a game. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said like I only stayed for an hour to shoot, but he stayed there an extra hour just to prove that he was going to be working harder than me. And I think that kind of mentality, like that's kind of what I try to grow up with. Like every day I'd come home and then I'd go straight to the club that was like literally lucky for me was like the bottom of the road. And I think that mentality of getting as many reps up, like it doesn't just happen like overnight.
And that's probably how you can deal with your schedule now, because you've done that when you were younger.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think if you were saying to the vast majority of people in the populace, this is your schedule, you have to be at work at 6. Yeah. Sometimes you're not done till 9 p.m. or whatever.
Oh, and like that's 5 days a week. Or most of the times, yeah. So like on a Monday, for example, my normal Monday, I think I get home from work at like 6:30. I don't have pro training that day, but then I'll go straight to I'll come home. I'm on meal plans because I don't have time to cook. So lucky for me, they sponsor me and I'll be able to eat for that, so it's fine. Okay. And then like I'll go straight to my game, but the game doesn't start till like 9:30. So then I'll get home at like 11:30, shower, bed by 12. Like I have a sleep app, and it's the most depressing thing to read in a week. Like every birthday present or every Christmas present I ever get from anybody is like lavender stuff to sleep better.
Yeah,
or
of course,
like honestly, that's because I don't sleep. So that's why the summer holidays are the best thing for me, because I
just come home and rest.
That's it. So it's quite nice, but
that's nice.
But this season's been too much. Like I picked up quite a lot of injuries from that overtraining. So next year I will be cutting back and kind of what I'm doing. And I think like I tore my meniscus in February, and I dislocated my shoulder in the January. So it's been a journey this season, and I think it is coming down to that overtraining on the opposite side and not enough rest. And I think years ago, rest wasn't kind of the key ingredient to training, where now,
of course,
the amount of science research around it is, so that's where I need to start listening. So rest is going to be my best friend, I think, next year in a little bit, but not as much. But still, that's
interesting, because when you're saying about the amount they invest in facilities, do you think, are they investing over in Dubai in those kind of recovery treatments that you see all the time in kind of pro basketball in say America? So ice baths and all these, chambers.
Yeah, the pro team are amazing with it. So like we have our own like physio who watches our trainings, and then she'll kind of see if there's any niggles or anything that you have.
Oh, that's good. That's always good when they're involved.
Yeah, she like I remember one session she was like, "Is your hip tight?" And I was like, "No." And then she touched it and I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "You need to come."
Oh, that's amazing.
So she just Fatima is incredible. So I think they just kind of the unlimited access, like Like on a Friday, we used to just do shooting practice before a game on a Saturday, and you'd just be able to go to the ice bath that would be provided for you, and then she'd have like unlimited physio, so you could just go for a massage whenever you wanted, or any kind of small niggle. Like they have a lot of cryotherapy and stuff, so that stuff is starting to massively be pushed into Dubai. Like you can't drive like 20 minutes without seeing like a cryotherapy place, because
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a push now, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing. Everyone's getting them installed in their homes and stuff.
Yeah, and
I've still got a big bucket outside that I use as a nice bath.
That's it. Like that's how I used to have it when I was younger. Like literally just a bucket, put my leg in it, my ankle in it. But now, it's an experience, because it is actually freezing. Like it is next level. Like I didn't understand how cold it could actually be.
Yeah,
but, like,
how long can you do in those?
So I can do a song now. So it's like 2.5 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. Yeah.
In like the big cryotherapy kind of rooms.
Wow.
Ice bath, I'm really good at. I can stay in there for like ages.
It's one of my favorite feelings. As long as
I've got my headphones
in the world.
Yeah, once you get over the first, like, it's when you get into a swimming pool. Like I find like once you get over the first, once my shoulders are in, I can stay there for like 10 minutes. Like and then as long as I got my headphones in, I'm fine. Or speaking to the girls, I'm fine.
Yeah. Distract yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. Just like I remember watching like a podcast about it. And it was like just control your breathing, and once you've controlled that, like you'll be absolutely fine.
There's all kind of breathing tricks that you can do, isn't there?
Yeah, but no, it definitely is improved, because we used to just roll. Like that's pretty much. Like I'm never really like a warm up person or like a cool down person. It's never really been like a push for me.
Yeah, I can see why you might have got a couple of injuries.
Yeah, like no, but I'm starting to now. So like when we had Coach CJ Lee, he was the women's coach. Like before I went to Dubai.
Okay.
He was one who took us to Gibraltar, and he was a big S&C guy. He loved like fitness. He was a believer in looking after your body, and it kind of was the first time that I actually started to understand the impact of like rolling and stretching, and didn't really get it, because when you're like 14, you just run on the court, and then you can play. You
feel invincible.
Yeah, exactly. Where CJ kind of taught me that side of it, like rolling quite a lot, and the massage guns and stretching and that kind of side of basketball. So that's something that I have started to over the last couple of years of trying to implement it a bit more, but definitely something that I still need to work on. Yeah,
because they're saying that you can stretch out careers nowadays with all the scientific stuff that they can do now to help recovery. People are adding 3, 4, 5 years onto their careers. Are you hoping to play later on, or do you think that you're going to hit a point and you'll be like, okay, that's enough for me coaching?
I just can't imagine it. Like my parents said to me this summer, they were like, oh, you've got quite a few injuries, like obviously slowing down. I was like, oh, the thought of it, because when I was injured, like I was so depressed. Like basketball is, as I've said,
it happens to a lot of people.
Like I couldn't, like I went and watched games, I'd go and I'd still be at training, I'd still be doing recovery at the time. Like I couldn't just sit down and do nothing. But I would hope to play as long as I can. I think I'd be probably one of these ones who like do walking basketball and all stuff like that. Like I'd be that keen person, but definitely coaching. Yeah, I definitely want to go down the coaching route. I think with teaching, like I coach at a high level anyway within the school, so that side of it, like definitely be interested. Like I went with the under-16s, or maybe the year before I went to Dubai, I went with Coach James. I went with the under-18 girls team as like a team manager, kind of assistant coach with him to the FIBA championships.
How was that?
And I loved it. I loved being on the other side of it, but I was itching. I'm still at that point where I just want to play. Like I'm not quite ready for the sidelines yet, but definitely would try and stretch out as long as possible. So I need to start stretching more.
Okay, fab. I've got one last question for you, Jess, and then I'll let you go. You've been fantastic. So you want to stretch out your career, but have you got any goals? Do you think maybe you'll be in Dubai for the rest of your career, or do you have any targets or things you want to do, places you want to go, things you want to compete in?
Yeah, so I definitely want to get back in the Welsh programme, because obviously, the Welsh programme the women's team's been disappeared since I left, to be honest. Not because I've left, just because of the...
But we're back.
That's it. But we're back now, which is amazing. So I think Coach Jones is going to be incredible. So I think with the it's definitely being part of that programme again. I think that's been a big push for me. So knowing
international
that
stuff
back, I think international is one of them ones where you have to start, like, you have to get to a point and say, right, this is not for me anymore. I have to slow down. But I think I'm at the peak still at the moment.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think
What are you, 27? You got years and
27.
years.
I'm 28 next month, but yeah, still got ages left
You're
within
still
that program.
27. We can still go with
So
it.
20. Okay, so 27. So I think for me, it's being part of that program again. Like, I was
Yeah.
devastated when it was announced
No,
and
of
I was
course. I think a
still
lot of
away.
people, it
So
really hurt.
yeah, so I think when we had that tournament because I think it's been amazing us going with the GB team, but
Yeah,
then it's been detrimental to Wales, I think, with the
absolutely.
programme. So now having the opportunities where we're starting to push the women's basketball, it's going to be an exciting time for us. So I think definitely the push for me for international is a big focus. Regards to staying in Dubai, that changes all the time. I think
Right. You're up and
I'm
down.
very much up and down of where kind of my next step within I'm going to live. There was an opportunity to move to France
Oh,
last
interesting.
year, but I decided just to stay one more year in Dubai. So at the moment, I have 1 year left on my contract in Dubai.
Okay.
So in terms of that, I'm not quite sure yet.
Right.
Maybe I'll go to Saudi and play football. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, may
But
as
yeah,
well.
no, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I think at the moment my life is very much in Dubai,
Right.
and with the basketball programs over there so far, it'd be hard to come back to like the UK,
Of course. No, I
in
understand
terms
that.
of that,
You're used to
because
certain
like
facilities, and yeah, I
yeah,
understand
it's
that.
actually because like Liverpool, they don't have a pro team or they don't have a WBL team. It's only Manchester, so that would be quite far as well to travel. So it's
Of
just
course.
kind of balancing all of that at the moment. But I think the next couple of years are definitely Dubai, and then we'll go from there. I'm very much like a last minute planning person. So yeah,
No,
we'll
no, but
see.
I like that. You take the opportunities as they come. I can understand that.
That's it.
Well, honestly, thank you for talking with me today, Jess. It's been really, really interesting to speak through your career and your interests and how basketball has impacted your life. You've been fantastic, and I really
Thank you very
appreciate you giving me
much.
your time.
No problem. Thank you very much. It's lovely to meet you.
Cheers. Yeah, lovely to meet you, and you're welcome back anytime here at the Basketball Wales podcast series. We'll be back with you in the next 2 weeks with episode 5 of this new series of the Pod Pill Basket. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.